Mhm.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be here till 10 a.m. You can go now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Peace. Today, your hosts are Queen Aduni, Danny Stillwell, and Lolly Mariah Tolbert. Enjoy.
Grand Rising,
Man, rising.
my beautiful queen. It is good to see you today.
Good to see you too.
Great to be here. Great to talk to you. Great to see your brown skin. Great, great, great. We got to say great. We get to make today great. Is your decision.
Which accent was
I
that?
say, I say,
I don't know.
I say.
I think I was mixing everything together.
It worked. It worked. I say today.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yes, and the intention behind them.
And what a beautiful morning. Who did we lose? We lost somebody. I said we lost somebody. Ayana. We lost Ayana. Well, 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 well. We are at Friday. Today is Friday, October the 28th. What a beautiful day. 2022. Wow. Just think we thought, and remember in the when 2000 was coming around, Lolly probably wasn't here yet. Remember when 2000 was coming in, we was coming out of 19, and the word was that all the computers were going to crash because everything wasn't set up to go into 2000. And us humans were running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Everybody was scared we was gonna die. And oh my gosh, you know what? I think the Lord just be cracking up, just cracking up at us. Help them, help them, help us, angels, help us, help us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are silly.
That was going from 99 to 2000.
There we go. That's all we, in 1 second, the whole world was going to fall apart. And then everybody was sitting there watching it. Watching. Okay, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still, yeah. Yeah.
Everything still works like normal.
It still worked. Right. Too bad some of our bills weren't those computers weren't shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
There, I ain't had no bills though. I ain't had no bills yet though, but I was there.
You know, my son Fame, he said, Ma, I used to wish that I got mail, because you guys got mail all the time and I didn't ever get any mail. But now that I know what kind of mail you was getting, DTE, telephone bill, all those things, that was what we were getting. Now he sees it wasn't that big a deal. It was not that big a deal. And big a deal is there's a request for Lolly to come on to the pub. What's the name of that place? Juanita, the club Sky and them play at.
What's that?
What's the name of that club? The pub.
Oh, Woodbridge.
Okay.
Woodbridge.
Woodbridge.
Always seen it, but I've never actually.
Well, Sky is there. Sky and Phil and the basic set is Sky Covington, then Philip, and then Terrence Neal drums, and Ibrahim Jones on bass, and they kill it. So he says, do you know what is the name of that song? The best part.
Yeah.
He wants you to come down there and sing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna love it, Lolly.
I'm sure I will. I am sure I will.
That's one of his
Have
favorite
you and
songs.
Sky? Have you and Sky met yet?
No.
Y'all are sisters in weight
Okay, cool.
for each other. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So,
Sister bond.
what you got for us, Lolly? You got anything?
I'm trying to decide, to be honest.
You better stop doing that word.
I am deciding right now on what to share. I thought I'll share a little bit of something I thought was interesting though, from a Buddhist philosophy, because I was just doing some studying this week.
Okay.
And they have these introductory tests that they do every few years, not necessarily because they're like, we need everybody to get tested because this is how we need to function, but more so because it really allows people to study together and learn more. And I've already taken it, so I can't take it again, but I was like, well, maybe I can just, study, because they send out really nice material. And so one thing that I thought was really interesting was this concept of the 10 worlds. And I'm reading it on my tablet. I was going to pull it on my computer, but I can read it on here. So basically, there is this philosophy of the 10 worlds, and the 10 worlds are basically 10 different life states that you go through. And they are the world of hell, the world of hunger or hungry spirits, the world of animals, animality, the world of asuras, the world of human beings or humanity, the world of heavenly beings, the world of voice hearers or the learners, the world of cause awakened ones, people who are going through realization, the world of bodhisattvas, and the world of Buddhas. And so a lot of times there's a lot of different forms of Buddhism. And a lot of times people are like, okay, well, Buddha is a god. And there is a form of Buddhism where the Buddha is reverenced in a similar way. But in this particular type of Buddhism, it's more so the original Buddha was the teacher, kind of in a sense of like, just like how in Islam there's Muhammad and like just different things like that. He was the teacher, but anybody actually is able to be a Buddha. And so the 10th world, the 9th and 10th world of being a Buddha or Bodhisattva is like the highest world to exist within. And that's basically when you're living in your highest potential. That's when you are living out your purpose. That's when you are really proving that you are here. You literally committed before you decided to be, like, not before you decided, before you came on this earth, you decided to be here to carry out a purpose. And then when you're existing within that world, that's one of the highest worlds to live in. So going through, I'll just mention a little bit about each of these 10 worlds, because as opposed to some philosophies, which I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining this one. Some philosophies have it where it's like, okay, you're on earth now, you're living now, and then after you die, you go to heaven or you go to hell. Well, in this, it's more so as you're living life, you go through these specific life states where you experience these things and you have the ability to come out of them or change into them. Any of them could be changing at any time. So you could be going through hell right now, and then tomorrow you're going through a more of a heaven life state, or you go through your realization and your learning, and then you're in this state of Buddhahood as opposed to being in a state of hell. And that can all change as life changes. So there are 6 paths and then 4 noble truths that are part of the 10 worlds. So 6 plus 4, 10. Okay. So the 6 paths, these are like things that you're going through. So the world of hell is the lowest state of life. That's the state of life in which one is imprisoned by suffering and completely lacking freedom. This is where we are experiencing the world around us in a way that's like suffering and intense, and it's like we're being burned in flames, but not necessarily actually. I mean, maybe, I don't know what your situation is, but you're probably not actually being burned in flames, but it feels like there's so much going on. You feel disempowered in everything, and sometimes rage arises, and it's where you're just in extreme pain, unhappiness, and misery. But if we can use that state to transform who we are and to become happy, to become a better person, to get through it, then that world was useful. We just didn't like it. Then there have the world of hunger, or of hungry spirits. And that's by this relentless craving and the suffering arising from craving going unsatisfied. So let's see. Spirituality, physically torment. Okay, so for example, greed comes out of this spirit of hunger as well. The realm of hungry spirits is a pitiful place where, driven by starvation, they devour their own children. That sounds crazy, but this is the old reading. So hunger is so strong that it drives those in its grips to devour their own, describes a life state of suffering in which one's heart and mind are ruled by insatiable desires. So it's when we're getting to the point where we're not necessarily showing our gratitude for where we are in life, but we are just becoming so overly hungry that we've become obsessed by what we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And that ends up being a conflict in our world because we can't find our way to absolute joy or happiness because we're really stuck in the space of I don't have, I need, I want. Mm-hmm. And it becomes a real problem there. But that could be a life state that is, a few moments, or you could be in that life state for years. Mm-hmm. And we've spoken about, we had a conversation about greed a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And that all falls into place because of how it impacts the rest of the world. Like they were saying, this extreme example of you being so greedy that you would devour your own children. Basically, you don't care about anybody else around you. It's only what you want. That is a state of life that could cause the state of life of hell for other people. Yeah. So these are all. Oh, go ahead.
Can I jump in here? That hunger. When we was talking about families, like when you want something so bad that a mother will walk away from their children to be a star, mm-hmm. Or they'll walk away to be with another man, and vice versa. Men walk away, or those who have children, the sports people, and choose that over their children and taking care of them and things like that, or they choose another whatever. Yeah, so that could be in anything where what you're responsible for and what you brought forth, that you would rather have what you want than to take care of what you have created, or what you're responsible for. Yeah. Go ahead, baby.
Is it always that choice though? Because I'm thinking of, okay, so let's say somebody who comes out of the quote unquote ghetto, a state of deprivation, a state of poverty, and they get a NFL contract. It gives them an opportunity to care for their kids in a way that they wouldn't have been able to care for them if they had stayed
If
right
they
there
care for
physically with
them,
them.
if they care for them, though, if they
Yeah,
care for them,
yeah,
if they walk away
right.
to have that
That's different.
man to deal with what your responsibilities are, then that's out of order. In my mind, that's out of order. Because you don't have to, I mean, I don't have to be with somebody in order to handle my responsibilities of, especially in the case of children that you have created. Well, if you created that or you made an agreement, then to not handle it with integrity, even if you're not going to do it, is out of order. And then I know that
Thanks
all
for
kind of things,
clarifying.
all kind of things come with that in relation to the relation of in this case, we're talking about mother and father and then the children. Because we know that some of our, and I'm going to say some of our sisters, that whole baby mama drama, baby daddy drama, prevents, I mean, it gets hard to take care of what you're supposed to take care of, but when the heart don't care, that's the danger part. It's one thing when
Yeah.
you don't have it and you trying, there's another thing when and you just don't do anything about it, period. So
Yeah.
okay, that's my little.
No, that was good because it brings us into the world of animality.
Now spell that. I don't know, how do you spell that?
Oh, it's just animal. It's
Oh, okay.
Animality.
Got it.
Yep. So the world of animality is characterized by foolishness in the sense of being moved by impulse rather than reason and being concerned only with immediate benefit and gratification. Mm-hmm. So even as we talked about being in this world of hunger, this life state of hunger before, and how it could lead you to do things, as we were mentioning, neglecting the people around you, your family and things like that, that plays straight into this world of animality, because it's like, oh, I got what I want. All right. And I don't care about anybody else. I'm just going to do what I want right now. I'm not thinking about anything else. This is what I want. And there's certain times in life as well, whether it be with our business moves, our life choices, our partners, whatever it is, a lot of times we're moving in that animal instinct where it's just like, let's just do it. This is what I do, and there's no thought. And there's so many times that messes us up. And I've had plenty of experiences with that. So
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So because you have the world of hell, the world of hunger, and the world of animality, those are considered the three evil paths. So yes, hell, hunger, and animality. But what is added to those three to form the four evil paths is what's called the world of Asuras. That's Asuras. So basically, I'll read this first and then I'll explain it. So a characteristic of the world of Asuras is an obsession with personal superiority and self-importance, a tendency to always compare oneself with others and to want to be better than them. So this is that state where it's like, look at me, look at what I do. I'm better than you. You only do that. You go through this. You do that. I can do this better than you. I don't understand why you're going through what you're going through because I didn't have to. And It's one of those things. And I know a lot of times I see this in spirituality and religion of all forms. I've seen it in the church. I've seen it everywhere where people like get to this point of like, oh, I'm holier than thou. I've read this and I've done this, so I know more than you. Yeah. And you might have a lot of knowledge. This is true. However, you can't place yourself above other people as if you aren't existing in a life that can include all of these other worlds that I was mentioning before. You're still living this human experience and you still have the ability to grow and become better. But when you live in this world of assurance, you're blind to that and get to Buddhahood or enlightenment or realization because you're stuck in this space where you think you know everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about the ones that compete with you to be worse off?
Oh, I feel
feel,
like,
my told her, well, girl, that ain't nothing, cause I hit my arm. Yeah, but yeah, and then my toe started turning green. Girl, I know what you mean, cause then I looked up and I mean everything you say that was wrong. I've been divorced. Girl, I've been divorced. I've been divorced 5 men already. Blah, blah, blah. Just everything. They got to trump you. You got to trump you on everything. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
That all falls in the line.
Monty, just Lolly, you want to tell her where you're reading from? I'm sure she's very familiar with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know it's the 10 worlds.
Okay. Go
And
ahead.
Okay, I'm excited.
it's
Yeah, we're talking about the 10 worlds. We just got through hell, hunger, and animality, and we were just speaking on the world of Assurus, or this obsession with personal superiority, as the 4 evil paths. And then we have the world of humanity. So this is the world of human beings. This is the life state of humanity, considered to be calm and composed, in which people maintain their characteristic human qualities for the most part. But those who are in the life state of humanity understand the principle of cause and effect and are rational enough to know the difference between good and evil. So basically, this is the basic life state. This is like, I exist here on earth. I have this opportunity to choose what I want to do, and I'm pretty sure I have a good idea on what's bad and what's good. And from there, your decisions can lead you further into other paths. But that's the basic of it. Now, it is understanding that, yes, this is coming from a space of the human qualities are genuinely or innately good. But understanding that oftentimes our characteristics are flawed. And sometimes it can be flawed in a way that's more, not diminishing, that's not the word I want to use, but that can cause more damage even sometimes in the path of animality. And that we sometimes fall into these states of this world of Assurus and things like that, where we want to have world domination and cause war and things like that. And so those are also characteristics of this human form as well. So there's something to think about, is that, yes, while we have this capacity to choose our decisions and we have this ability to reason, we were given a conscious mind to make decisions. Oftentimes our human traits are not always in good nature. So then, to continue on, we have the world of heaven. So in Indian cosmology, heaven was referring to gods that possess natural powers and the realm in which they lived. And then it was the thought that when people would pass on, they would be reborn as deities in heaven. Okay, so in Buddhism, the world of heavenly beings, or the state life of heaven, is regarded as a condition of joy experience when we fulfill our desires through effort. So there are all kinds of desires: instinctive desires such as food and sleep, material desires for things like a new car or house, social desires such as a wish for status and honors, intellectual and spiritual desires such as the aspiration to know about yet to be discovered worlds or works of art. It's just a very blissful experience. And there are so many times in our lives where we have like this moment of like, kind of like when I was talking about manifesting what I wanted in the past couple weeks. And even now, like, I'm working on a community event and whatnot. And it's like, as things are working out, you have this moment of this world of heaven that you live in for a moment. Like, this is great. Like, I'm excited. Like, yeah, that's your world of heaven. And that can exist. That can exist for you for like, just like anything else, for a moment, for a day, for a week. I mean, if you're really good at being gracious and enjoying life. Maybe it could last a year, a couple of years if you really good. I ain't there yet. I appreciate it though.
Appreciate every moment that you do get to experience it, right?
Yes. But in truth, without these evil paths, without these other pathways, these other worlds that we deal with, I don't think we would have the same appreciation for the world of heaven that we do. Because there's not really bliss if everything is the same all the time. So those are those 6 paths there. But the aim of the Buddhist practice was to transcend the 6 paths and develop the self-determined state of happiness that is not controlled by external circumstances. The awakened states of life a person can develop through practice are known as the 4 noble worlds. And this is the world of learning, realization, bodhisattvas, and Buddhas. So this is where you're getting into, okay, how can I transcend all of these characteristics, all of these different things where like my mindset is often shifted in a way that won't let me grow and won't let me develop? How can I transcend this I'm only happy when things are going right in the world of heaven, or I constantly think I'm better than someone, so this is how I exist in life, but I'm not learning anything. Or how can I transcend? I'm only working out of hunger. I want all the time. How can I work out of this animal? Like I'm only doing things because it feels good, not thinking about how it affects my life to others. How can I transcend this? So that's when you go into the 4 worlds. So the first is the world of learning and realization. This is a life state attained by those who gain a partial awakening through hearing the teaching. It refers to those who are being able to become awakened by observing life, their own life, and observing their own efforts towards becoming a Buddha, towards becoming a better person, towards achieving this concept of world peace, coast and roof, whatever. Okay. So you're waking up to the impermanence of all phenomena. That's what this state of learning and realization is. And what does that mean? Impermanence of all phenomena? That means realizing that things change constantly. Mm-hmm. Things are constantly changing. These worlds around us that can exist within our own lives is constantly changing. But what we are able to do is have a strong understanding that they change, and then we can seek to transcend those things and eradicate some of the attachments we have to certain issues, to certain desires, to certain flaws that we have within our lives. And we want to find ourselves content. We want to find ourselves happy in the midst of all of those things. And happiness isn't like, ha ha, he, I'm laughing all the time. No, it's when in Buddhism, the term happiness, I would say, would be the equivalent of this ultimate peace that people speak of in many different religions or spiritualities, this ultimate peace. And I always speak of the thing that I know, because my partner was within us or a set society, so they're talking about amen, which is like that peace right there. So it's basically the same thing as when we say happiness. So a lot of times people are turned off by like happiness, like I ain't happy all the time. It's like not what we need. You can try and still be at peace. You'll get there. You're okay. Mm-hmm. But yes. So what we have to be careful of, though, within this world of learning and realization is that we don't fall into the world of assurance where we become over arrogant in our learning. So that's what's really important about that. Now, the word of bodhisattvas, so the Sanskrit term bodhisattva means a living being, or a sattva, who strives to continuously attain enlightenment of a Buddha. So although the people of the two vehicles were the learning and realization, accept the Buddha as their teacher, they do not believe themselves capable of attaining the same life state as the Buddha. In contrast, Bodhisattva not only regard the Buddha as their teacher, but they strive to obtain the same enlightened state. So a Bodhisattva, like I mentioned before, was someone who said, hey, I'm going to come to this world, I'm going to fulfill my purpose. And then that next step is, while I'm in this world, I'm going to transcend all of these different life states. And I'm going to actually work to provide, to create peace in this space. And I'm going to actually work to become enlightened while I'm here in this lifetime. And so the Bodhisattva spirit is to empathize with the pain and sorrow of others and work to relieve that suffering and impart joy out of a wish for one's happiness of oneself and others. So fulfilling that purpose, fulfilling that mission on earth, and knowing that it's interconnected with everyone around you. That's the big thing. Not just like, I'm here and I'm going to achieve everything I want to achieve. Like, no, I literally am here because as I'm achieving things, I'm doing this because I'm here to spark a light in somebody else. That's literally what I'm doing. And this is what the Elizabeth is, to be honest. That's what we're doing. We're fulfilling this purpose. We decided to be here and to do this. And we're all on this mission together, whichever way you call it. This is a mission that we're on together. And so this last one, the world of Buddhahood. So the world of Buddhas, or the life state of Buddhahood, is the supremely noble life state manifested by a Buddha, which could be anyone. Buddha means awakened one. So becoming awakened, you're able to live this world of Buddhahood. One who has awakened to this mystic law, and which I didn't mention, was the mystic law is basically the mystic law of cause and effect. So understanding that everything happens is interconnected. Every cause that you make has some type of effect. Every cause that somebody else made has an effect on you. It's all connected. All right, cool. We there. But that's basically the state of Buddhahood is where we are fully understanding that we are awakened to our purpose as a bodhisattva, that we are really learning to transcend the different things that we come across in life, and that we're really open to this concept of absolute happiness as opposed to relative happiness. So you have this happiness that nothing can destroy at that point. You have this ultimate peace. You are there. The life state of a Buddhahood is often likened to the spirit of a lion king, a state of complete ease and confidence in which, like the Lion King, that doesn't fear anything. So that is the 10 worlds of Buddhism: hell, hunger, animality, asuras, human or humanities, heavenly beings, voice hearers or learners, the called awakened ones, which is realization, the world of bodhisattvas, and the world of Buddhas. So, yeah.
Ashe. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem. That was fun.
That was enlightening. It was enlightening.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Talk, Lolly, talk. Go ahead, girl. Teach. You know, it's like
Buddha Lolly. Lolly the Buddha.
It was really great, though, being able to have this literature to look over in this way. Like I mentioned, they had the test, so they had study guides, and they really go into a lot of detail with their study guides. So it was really helpful, but it was even more helpful for me because I was talking with Queen Aduni the other day, and I was like, I'm going to get my mother on here at some point. Really, I said the T word, but she was like, well, if you don't try it, just do it. As I was talking to my mom about it, she's a little bit more closed-minded about life and about spirituality and things. And she was like, well, people are going to try to spew what you think and da-da-da. And you probably shouldn't do that. You shouldn't get on there. And I said, well, it's up to me to study what I need to study, and up to you to study what you need to study. And then you can come together and share. You can share what you study.
Everybody brings something to the table.
Right. So this is what I did. I did my mission of I'm gonna study what I'm studying and share, so I can give her an example of how I did that, and maybe one day she'll do the same. I don't know, but this was great for me to explore.
Well, the other thing you could do is to pick a subject that she would like that's in the archives,
Mm-hmm.
and let her watch it whenever she, say, check this out, where there's, yeah.
Yeah, I'll search through and see.
Then she's not, what does she like to do? What is she into?
Well, religious wise, she's Christian, Pentecostal, Kojic Christian. But that's there's levels. There's levels. Yes.
I'm only laughing yeah. You know why I'm laughing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that seemed like it was just a little bit of a challenge for you, Lolly, to
Well, I
talk
think,
through that.
yeah, some people, I'm not even going to say some religions, I'm going to say some people are very aggressive about you understanding why you are incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more than just I'm right and you're wrong, as much as it is, in my understanding and in my interactions, as much as I don't want you to go to hell. Because if you don't do this, you might go to hell. And I want to see you at the pearly gates. And I don't want to hear, find out that you went to hell because I love you and such. I was just talking about that. My husband and I, we had a counseling with Claudette who had come on. And that was what I was saying, because we were talking about things where we didn't agree and stuff. And there, in the day where, so when we brought it up, I said, yeah, because I needed you to be saved. I didn't want you to go to hell. That's where I said, because hey, the whole family got to go. We got the one. Okay, everybody's in hell. I mean, everybody's going to go to heaven, so we're okay. So many times it's that. And so I'm sure she is concerned about your soul.
Yes. I hear it all the time.
And so it's yeah. A lot of that is that dog, how do you call it? What do you call that? Where I'm the only one, dogma. Maybe that's it, dogma. It's my way or no way. And that's because you've been taught that way. So you fear anything else.
Yeah.
And, I remember when I would say that I was like, but if I read something else, if I read all this other stuff, it may deter me from the teaching that I have. So in other words, I didn't want to know any other truth because then I'll get confused. And so God is not the author of confusion. And I am so anointed that the devil is coming after me because I'm anointed. I can kick some devil butt, that kind of thing. And you're just taught to, no, don't go in there, and all that kind of stuff. And you just walk in more. I mean, one can walk in a lot of fear for their faith.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does.
I'm scared to do that. I'm scared if you do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of don'ts. And so that, and so don't even approach her about that, that this is because this ain't religion at all, what we're doing. We just all freely talk about the spirit and what that means to each person. But talk, what is it that she likes? Like, does she like to cook? Does she like herbs? Is she really into that? Does she like reading? Does she like, just, and get it, we'll find something around that
Yeah.
will cause her to feel comfortable and seeing that everybody has opinions and we're all talking and blah blah blah, that type of thing, or something that she knows nothing about.
Yeah.
She knows
And I
nothing
explained
about.
that to her too. I told her, I'm like, we talk about healthy eating, we talk about a lot of different things, and she seemed a little bit interested because I was actually on a call. I was doing her hair, and I was on like towards the end of a call, and she was able to hear a little bit, and she was like not sure. But she's one of those people who has to like just be grounded in something, otherwise she gets really, really confused, and she doesn't like that. And like we're explaining, so I totally understand there because everyone has a different way of learning and getting through life, and some people need that strict like I'm right here so that she can get through. But that reminds me, that kind of just the concept of like, I don't want you to go to hell because I care about your soul type thing. And that just reminds me of this whole conversation we're just having about the 10 worlds and like the hellish life state. And so for me, when I learned about the 10 worlds, it allowed for me to change my life trajectory into a way where I was in more control of the things that I did in my life because of how I understood hell. Because before, let me tell you, I was very smart, but I was bad. Because I'm like, okay, well, you're going to send me to hell anyway. I can't get to heaven. So
That's the same with me. I said, well, why am I doing all this? If my thing was, if God knows everything, then God knows what I'm going to choose. So why am I going through all that? He already know whether I'm going to go to heaven or hell. So why am I got to go through? Now they got to figure out an answer for me because, it has to satisfy me and stuff, and then you just get to look, you just got to trust God. Okay. Okay.
It didn't work for me too well. I needed to understand how my life could put me in a hellish life state, how my decisions could put me in this hellish life state.
Yeah.
And when I realized that like the way that I'm living could put me in a position where I'm dealing with so much grief and pain, and that was on me, I'm like, oh, okay, like in my life, not after my life, but within my life. Then I'm like, okay, I can make changes in my life for how it turns out within my life. And then, of course, then you can talk about after that, you could talk about how your life transitions. So then after your life, what happens after that and the goodness that comes out of your life after that. But I need to know, how do I live now? How do I look at life now in a way where I understand how my actions play a role in the way that my life goes? How can I understand now how I can be happy, not just after I die? I don't want to be happy after I die. Like, I mean, yeah, I do, but like, I want to be happy now. I want to understand how to walk into my purpose now. I don't want to just be dangled over my head like, hey, if you don't do this, you're not gonna be good. You're not gonna have a great life. You're gonna have to burn in hell. Like I needed more than that. Yeah. And so that was huge in my life, and I know that's huge in many people's lives. I think that's one thing with my mom. She just didn't quite get it because we already talked about that. But that was super necessary, and that transition for me is what opened up one of the things that opened up my mindset on life, on spirituality, on religion, and on acceptance of other people's and their ideals and their truths and what they walk in, because I realized what's more important than the tradition itself is the life journey that someone exhibits while they're here and how it impacts the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So
welcome all of you queens who have joined us. Who is the iPhone? So I can put your name on here.
It's probably me, Sheila.
Okay.
these different phones.
Are you a spy or something? Are you one of those get those burner phones and then you do get things and then tear it up?
No, I've just been having a problem with the phones, and so I've had to exchange it, I think, twice within the month. So I think we're good with this one.
Okay. Okay, very good. Well, welcome.
Hey,
Can you rec-
everybody.
can we know who you are? Because I don't see a name at all.
Well, I
Oh,
just
how
changed
about,
it. It's
Sheila, when I see you
Alita.
later, you have to show me how to do that.
Okay. Yeah, it's Alita.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Alita. I remember us meeting. Yes, when we
Hey,
had
hi. Let
the
me see if I can
Elizabeth.
get here I am.
Yeah.
I didn't look like this. I looked a little bit more like this. Just a
Well,
little bit more. I'm gonna do something with this so it's more vision friendly.
Okay, you look good.
Oh, you know what? You probably don't see it. You were looking at my
right,
picture.
there you go. I'm finna say we see it. We're looking at your
At
Look
that
at a
part.
shadow.
Yeah. Yep, I'm gonna look more like that in just a few minutes. But thanks for joining us, Alita. Everybody, so good to
Hey,
see
good
all my
morning.
sisters. Grand
Yeah.
Rising.
So
Love
Queen,
y'all.
Lottie's been sharing with us the 10 worlds. Am I saying that right?
Mhm.
The Buddha from the Buddhist teaching. And
Ah,
yeah, it's been
cool.
amazing. I would like to actually I am going to have a show where I have sisters from different religions, different teachings, and the objective is what is it that we have in common?
That
Not,
would be great.
you know,
Yeah.
just in common. And we'll
Mhm.
find that there are more in common than there is separate, because a lot of that separation comes from the person teaching you and their understanding. You can have, and I've seen where pastors, they teach I mean, like this is it, this is it, this is it, this is it, whether it's a hard or a soft, this is it, this is it. And then they go to a conference, or they pick up a book, or let me write this down, Carlton Pierce. Or they get a different revelation, and then they have to go now back to that same community and teach something different. You say, you've been, I've been dogging myself because I can't do this like you've been teaching and stuff. And then you come through a revelation that this is okay. So, okay, and a real general one to bring up is speaking in tongues. And, some don't believe in it, some do believe in it, some operate in it all the time, some only if the Holy Spirit knock them down on the floor and stuff like that. And some think you have to like tarry, and some do it immediately, and all of that in the different teachings. And so yeah, and so you just you can get discouraged or just not know. I just want to know what is the common thread, which of course is love. But even love, like I was sharing about my understanding of forgiveness versus my cousin, who her teaching, and it might be how she perceived it, but the teaching that she got was that you don't have to forgive for certain things. And I'm like, you're going to be tied to that. You're going to be tied to him anyway. So just let him go. But so there's a different teaching there, so that's that's one of the things that I am, that's in my head, that will be manifested as soon as I meet all the right people, as soon as I meet all the right people, because we do have more in common than we have separate. So,
But can I just say, it's a
yeah,
difference between what the teaching, quote unquote, the law says and what people believe. Those are two different things.
share
Yeah.
more.
Well, a belief, the law is the law. It's not going to change. You cannot run stop signs. That's not going to say you can run a stop sign sometime. When the light is red, that means stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's the law on the earthly realm. So then you got the law on the spiritual realm. It's the law. The law of cause and effect is the law. The law of what goes around comes around is the law. The law of what's above as below, within as without, that's the law. You can't do nothing with that. That's the law. 1 + 1 is 2. That's the law. Right? And a belief is something that you believe, but if you was to really examine it, right, really question it, you can see that it'll shift on you. A belief will shift. Like what I believed when I was 5 and what I believed when I was 10 and what I believed when I was 28 and what I believe now ain't none of that.
Yeah.
So a belief, your belief can shift, but the law is the law. So that's all I want to say about that.
I got a question. How much of this really has to do with quote unquote labels and identity? Because I've had conversations with dear loved ones and we come to agreement on the truth of the facts and the truth of the reality. And then they come out with, oh, that's why you ought to be a quote unquote. And I'm like, how come you can't see that I already am? We already agreed on everything we just talked about. And you think because I'm not under that label that you're under, there's something missing for me. But we just already agreed on everything we just talked about. So how much of that do you all see coming into play?
What was the last thing that you said? Well,
how much of that need for identity and somewhat maybe even cliquishness, how much of that do you all see in, or the need for a label? How much of that do you all see coming into play?
Mama Head, did you want to chime in on that or something different?
I wanted to chime on something similar, but the labels, why do we have to, labels are for cans.
For cans.
Somebody told me that. I just
containers.
But containers, yeah. So what's a trip to me is that I remember when I started wearing my hair lock, that a person that I grew up in church with, and they said, is it okay if I pray when Isis is at daycare? I was like, just because I wear my hair like this don't mean that I'm not still a believer.
Yeah.
And that just really tripped me out, the assumption that I'm not what I am anymore because I changed my hair.
Yeah.
And that just really blew my mind. Like people said, just because I don't go to church, you still, so if you don't think I believe in God, then what do you think I do then? Because I've even had my own family question me and told me that I believed in the devil. I said, if your God is okay with raping children, I said, then I guess I do. Because raping children or molesting children, grown men, this thing that's going on. I said, then if that's of God, then I guess I'm the opposite direction. And I left it like that.
Let me share something funny with you guys, kind of related, but to what we were talking about atheists. God, atheists kept
popping up. Come on camera if you're gonna talk.
Okay, y'all get to see the bad hair. Okay, so atheism kept popping up after yesterday, well, during the day yesterday. And so the one that was real funny was about the praying woman who moved into a neighborhood of atheists. And she prayed loud, daily, all day. And one of the atheists heard her praying for God to send her some groceries. I need some groceries, Father. And the atheist said, well, I'm gonna fix her. And he went and bought her all these groceries and put them on her doorstep and stood in the bushes waiting for her to open the door. And she opened the door and got the groceries, and thank God right there with the open door. And he said, see, that just proves God didn't bring you those groceries. I did. She said, God brought me the groceries. I just didn't know he gonna have the devil to pay for them and bring them to me. I thought that was so funny, but it's so real, isn't it? It's so true. I mean, not to say that he was the devil, but God works. He still
Right.
couldn't catch that God had worked through him.
Right.
He could.
You know, what
That's
does the
still
So,
atheist say when they stub their toe?
but then listen, you guys, isn't like the labels we have? You're a Christian, you're an atheist. Those are all labels.
Yeah, they are.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Right.
are all labels. Because the real deal was Jesus wasn't no Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the
He was not a
truth.
Christian.
He was a Jew.
He
Yep,
was a
Right.
he happened to be
Jew.
born a Jew.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
labels are
those are
division and separation. Yeah.
And then
exactly.
each of us put a definition of what that label means, you know, because even in wherever we are worshiping or not, is as far as a location, and there's others, we still all have our own way we deal and how we accept or understand, you know, or what triggers each of us, you know, things like that. It's just, I mean, it's freaking amazing life. It's just amazing, and the continuous learning is what's really important, to not be shut down, that my knowledge is the only. Even scientists, they are always looking to be, to find out how they're wrong, not just how they're right, but what didn't work, what didn't work, and always know that you can go back, and well, let's try this, let's try that. Anyway, so
Yeah, that reminds me of geometry because we always had to do proofs to prove that it made sense. Using theories and whatnot. But aside from that, no, but that the labels go into what I was mentioning earlier with the world of assurance, where people become very arrogant in their beliefs and they don't want to grow. And they hold themselves over everybody else. And it's like, I know best, I know everything. So there's no way possible that you could understand life in the way that you do. There's no way, because I know. And that's where we get into issues. Those labels allow us to get to that point where we're like, well, I am this because I have a label. I have doctor, missionary, reverend, da 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 da, label of whatever church, da da da. And it's like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to grow within a doctrine, yes, but understanding like that people have to be allowed to believe, and people have to be allowed to seek and understand and want to grow in that understanding. And when we have these labels, we're just like, oh, you don't fit this exact definition. All right, cut off. That's it. And it's like, when did we have the power to cut people off from understanding their spiritual connectedness with life and others? When did we have that power to do that?
Yeah. And the arrogance to think that we do.
Yeah.
So that's that level of assurance. What you call it?
Asurus. Hold on, let me make sure I'm spelling it right. Asuras. It's called the word of assurance, where you're arrogant and kind of stuck in your ways and think you're better than others.
Mm-hmm.
And which level is that? Which world is that?
That's the world of Asurus. Yes.
What number?
That is number
4.
Is it 4?
Yes, ma'am.
So, yep, you're right.
I wrote it down.
You got it.
Get it.
It's 4 because it's the extra evil path, because you got hunger, animality.
Not that far. Not that
You
far
said
from hell.
extra evil.
It's the extra.
Not that far from hell.
Out of the 10 worlds, you have the 4 evil paths, but the original 3, that was the hunger, that was the hell, hunger, and animality. But then the other one that's added is the world of Asurus, which is where you're arrogant and believing that you're better than everybody and you can't grow at that point.
Okay. So I met a young lady. There was a time when I was saying I was saved and everything, and my friends were like, "Why are you still going to parties and stuff?" I said, "Because I have a ministry of dance. You know, I minister through dance. You know, when I go out if there's a person, we might be doing a hustle or whatever, and I see a sister struggling, I could see her disappointment. She walk up dance, but I'll go grab, hey, get back over here. You're not leaving until you get this. And so I walk with, I hold them and do it with them until they master, because I want them to feel good. I don't want nobody to leave the dance floor upset. But anyway, I met a young lady who said that she was like, people say they're saved and they use that ED like I've gotten to a place, like I'm there. And she said, I don't like to use that. I call it a walk. I'm walking with Christ. I said, I like that because it's a journey. You don't get your PhD in being saved because you still have to evolve because you're at a certain place, a level of understanding or understanding as a human. But won't you get, I don't know, wouldn't you get more this than you are that? Or if you're this, then you advance to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to use the good and bad because that just gets me in a place. But it's like the spiraling where you understand, your inner self as well as your outer self. But I really enjoyed that she said, I'm on a walk with Christ. I like that because it meant that there was room, like you were saying, to grow and to get more knowledge. I'm gonna just say that because I'm saved. Like you don't have to study no more. Does that mean you don't have to study? You saved, but you don't have to study anymore or learn anything else. Because like the evolution for me is like learning about the different religions and their doctrines.
Yeah. I when you were speaking, Mama Head, I could envision you're walking with Christ, you're walking with Buddha, you're walking with Krishna, you're walking with Charles, I heard God said, you know what, just call me a friend, because y'all better to your friends than you are to me. Because of that. But anyway, that walk, when you're walking with someone, you just like, you're walking down a path and there's something over here and you can say, let's stop and check this out for a minute, but like you said, if you're already there, then, I'm saved, like you saying in the context of what we're talking about, that walk, sometimes there's rocks in the road, you come across a path, and like my mom, she was walking and the sidewalk was raised like that and she hit it and stumbled into a gate, and her whole life changed as a result of that. That's still the same thing. You stumble, and if you're walking in your spiritual walk, okay, now we've tripped and we're going to get everything back together. Everybody comes, the doctor comes, the doctor, the lawyer comes to get you back on track, but I just like that walk, having a walk gives room for expression. It gives room for experiencing. Some people take a ride to California and they go straight to California. They don't stop and look at the mountains. They don't stop and, well, let's turn off and go over here. Yeah, it's a walk. It's a walk. It's a walk. So let me tell you what I learned in my class, in my reading, was about love. And so tell me what your understanding of love is. Anyone can jump in, except for Omani. She can't jump in.
That's fun.
And Pam probably should jump in. What is love? What is love?
Love is action. It's a verb.
Okay. What are the different types of love?
I would say,
you can't answer, but go ahead.
Hey, Star, tell me and I'll tell them. Type it to me and I'll tell them.
Well, my first thought is love is God.
Is what? We
God.
can't
Can you hear me?
now. Now we can.
Love is God. And I say that because when God was telling me about what he wanted me to do, he said, don't say that you're bringing the people to me, God. You say that you're bringing them to love, joy, and peace. So that's why I say love is God. And it extends out to different types of love, like you said. However, it starts with God, because we wouldn't know love if it wasn't for God. We just have to learn that. However, that's what I say.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing.
Can I add to that?
Yes. If you come on
So,
camera.
oh, okay. So, love being a state of being and the essence of our being, which is God. Coming right back to our source, and the Holy Ghost being the active presence of God, being love in action.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can we love people in different ways?
Yeah.
Of course.
Like there's a spiritual love. There's like, I have what you call work love, like your coworkers. You have your loves at work, people that you interact with and grow and teach and learn from each other. You have, oh wow, spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional love, like that. But I know when I was in school, they said if you want to define a word, you got to use if you use the word, then are you defining it? So what is love? Love is walks in the park or looking at leaves and fall. It's action. I don't know.
I think
Love is your grandson grabbing your hand while you're riding in an Uber.
Oh, that's precious.
I would say love is appreciation, compassion. Sometimes I feel like there's a certain level of love where it requires reciprocity, and then there's a level of love where regardless of if it comes back, you're willing to give it.
Agape. That's agape. Unconditional. Yeah.
Unconditional appreciation, compassion, effort towards the good of someone else. Yes.
So what about the aspect of the butt whooping, the chastisement? What about
love?
Tough love? Yeah. What is there a word for that kind of love? Or because God, he chastises those he loves. He chastises us. And as parents,
Yeah, so even in that, I take challenge to that God ever since they taught me that, it didn't make sense to me. Because I think when like even when they say spare the rod, the rod is another word for the rod, and this is I hope that I'm remembering this right. The rod is the word, it's not a stick. Not something to beat.
That's true.
And my understanding that I've come to is that I'm hitting you because I can't get through to you through my words and through my actions. So that really is, that's something that's a deficit on my part
Mhm.
dealing in this situation, so I can't do it, so I will hit you. I will
Right.
beat you. And then, okay, so that person is hurt, and or last time I whooped Fane, I was hurting. I couldn't let him know that though. I couldn't let him know, but I had to get a massage the next day. But
That's wow.
what I'm
But
saying
how,
is that statement, because I don't agree with everything that is written in any way.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that is like, well, because I know this one sister, she never hit either one of her children, and they are great. She just, how she dealt with it was different. I'm gonna bring her on one time, because that's her mission in life, is to is no child is hit and abused,
Mhm.
stuff, and how to deal with things, because her children are
Yeah.
very disciplined.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I don't agree. I agree. I mean, I just think that you have not figured out in communication how to communicate that,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and you have so many people that were abused as children, and they'll use that scripture to continue that pattern,
Yeah.
versus learning that I'm not understanding how to communicate with this person. I'm not doing it right, or I'm not understanding. Somewhere there's something not happening. And then
Right.
the moment, now you got to grab a child, they about to step out into the street, but do you have to hit them? You grab them, get them in their position and stuff. Now, how you discipline, I'm not judging anybody's discipline and how you see that, but I'm just sharing from me what
Think about
I've learned is that I could not, because even that time when I whooped Fane, he was coming home, he lied to me, and don't let a woman have time to stew and brew over something.
Oh yeah.
When it
That's
comes,
it.
when he walked in, the tea kettle was,
No, it's not.
and all I was doing was sitting there just waiting on him, just
Because I'm gonna get them.
think that, oh, he think he's just because he's big and stuff, that I'm gonna and I didn't create this storm that when he come, wait till he get his butt in the bed, take his clothes,
Thank you.
and then when I and I did, and I took that belt, and I was doing one of them, whoop, 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 because I wanted to hear him respond. And he's grown, he's sitting there looking like, and then when he said, "Ma," okay, I just want to get your attention so that you know who I am. And
Wow.
and so when we do that, I mean, I think we just need to reassess about that hitting, and parents, me, Philip, if I had to hit him every time because I can't get it through to him.
It's not, the whooping ain't gonna change them. It's gonna hurt for a minute, but it's not gonna change the mind.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. You want to
to
give them options. Like my father used to tell me, think.
Yeah.
But when ISIS was coming up, because we got spankings when I was little, and then I heard, I'm thinking, going to get a switch or the hand or the belt, and then my friends told me, well, I got hit with extension cord. I mean, it got really, I was like, oh my God, what do you mean? But when I became a parent and I started that, and I was like, this hitting seems like slavery to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It made me think of enslaved people getting hit. And even with cribs and bassinets, it made me feel like my child was in jail, these bars. I was like, I don't like this. And I had to let all that stuff go. I was like, baby, sleep with me and Papa. And I didn't, I did change from spanking, like, to a hot five. I would make the hot five. It's hot. It's got a little pepper in it. Bam!
Yeah.
Or doing things like holding up books, because I don't want you to write write on the wall, but at least holding up a book is going to help strengthen the muscles. That's my mentality. But even all of that, and then we'll address a thing after it's happened. So now the purpose for it is, there's a time delay, because we were talking about disciplining children in school. You know, if Johnny did good in class and he won something because of what he did, you taking that away, that's not cool, because he did earn the thing, but you're going to take it away to punish him for something else. You're not even addressing what was, you know, you're punishing them on something that they earned for a deed that they did. You told them, I'm going to reward you if you do this, but then you take the reward. That's why we so confused.
Yeah, right.
You say, if I sign this piece of paper saying that I'm gonna follow the law, and then, you know, but you can turn around. Never mind, Mama Omani told me don't worry about all that. But anyway, yeah. So we, you know, the punishment, the spanking and the hitting it made me think about what happened in slavery times, that the enslaved people would get hit and whipped, and I was like, that ain't working.
Right. If you remember
Okay.
the movie with King Kong, one of them, and she okay, so he raises King Kong, you know, he raises the monkey, you know, the ape. And then so now we're going to go out into the community. We're going to go out into the world. And then when he goes out there, he puts his chain on the neck, right? And then as he's walking with his friend, he sees a dog with the same thing on, right? He's got the same thing. And where it was, this is my friend, now, wait a minute, I look like him. He's treating me like that. And so that, you know, that I can't get to that. I don't like animals. I like them to have if you don't have a yard, you don't need an animal, because animals need to run. And I just, anyway, I equate it to slavery in a lot of ways, like what you said, Mama, had that. Well, that's the same as this. I won't have an animal if I don't have a yard and fenced in so that they can run, you know.
And then they got to
No
constantly be
judgment
on
on
a leash.
anybody else, you know, but yeah,
Right.
they need to run. Anyway, Mama Evelyn.
Okay. Well, I got 3 things to say. So
Okay.
the first thing, I'm gonna tell you a little story. Okay. Sheena's dad is 10 years and 3 days younger than me. So imagine I'm 16 and he's 6. His brother, he has 2 other brothers, 5 and 4, and I'm the babysitter.
Okay.
And I had a huge stick because I couldn't, they were, you know how little boys are. And I'm 16, I'm a drill sergeant. You know, you need to like sit still, and that's the way I was with them, right? Fast forward to Sheena, and I would spank her. And then I said, why am I spanking her? This hurts. This hurts me. This hurts my head. This hurts my, why am I spanking her? And I said, nope, not going to do that anymore. And so with RJ, I've never spanked him. I've never hit him. And when it comes to God punishing, I know God loves you regardless. You have free will. Your free will get you in more trouble. Okay? But God's going to love you through it, no matter what. There is no punishment. It is always love. So that's the way I feel with that. And what was the third thing? I forgot. Yeah, that was it. Those were the 3 things. Yeah, with Sheena and with not spanking, and then yeah, God is love no matter what. Because it doesn't make sense that he punishes.
Then what happens when they do something that may not be, let's say they do this instead of that. Let's say they start stealing money from people in the house. God gonna love them.
Rebelling.
Yeah.
Rebelling, straight up rebelling.
What I mean, God loves them through that, but how is that gonna help? I don't know, the behavior. I'm just throwing out questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's something.
Well, in that sense, what Evelyn said is really still true. You know, God
Yeah.
loves us. He may step away
Sweet talk, nice talk.
and allow. Am I talking bad?
No,
Go ahead.
she was talking to someone else.
Oh, he may allow us to experience our consequences.
Yeah. I like that.
Now, let me ask this question though. What about when love does not feel good and does not look good?
That's not love. That's
Well,
not
it
love.
may be.
I don't
It
know.
may be.
But in
What does
some
that mean?
It's
households,
not
that's how it is.
love.
Right.
Wait. Can
That's
you
what we're
expound on
made to
that?
think it is.
Let me finish.
Juanita,
Let
I
me
need you
finish.
to expound on that. Spread,
Thank you.
say what
Thank
you're,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
Because what I want to point out is that loving you don't mean I'm going to always do what you want me to do.
Yes. Yep.
And it ain't going to feel good to you when I'm not doing what you want me to do. And it don't mean I don't love you. You want to do me some kind of way that ain't good for me and really ain't good for you. And because I love you, if I love you, I'll do it. No.
No.
And in that moment, it's not going to feel good to you that I did not agree with your ish.
Yeah. That I agree with. Yeah.
So
Well, I think that's their misconception of what love is. That's all
That's
that
what I'm
is.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. You don't
Mhm.
understand. That song, she don't love you. She can't love you like I can love you, or something like that, or some kind of song. And when I hear it, I'm like, you don't know what that person
You
needs.
don't know what it
You don't
is.
know what kind of love that person, what turns that person on. But you think just because you're a really good woman, you cook, you listen, you're good in the bed, all of that stuff. But this person over here just hits something. And so how do you I would never say somebody they can't love you like I love you. Right. I'm me.
that's true.
And you
That's
bring
true.
out certain things, and certain personalities bring out certain energies in some people.
Yeah.
You may only see a negative issue with one person, and another person may only see the love, the peaceful and whatever. But people have different definitions of love, because if a household that's an abusive household, and if they think that this is how life is because it's like that in the house, they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Until somebody, sometimes things may happen until you get outside in the world. You may be talking and somebody say, this is happening to me, and it blah, 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 blah. But because the one energy only knew this one thing, they didn't know the difference. And now you have a different concept, like, wait a minute, this is happening to me. Is this, one way or the other?
Yeah.
And so then you say something and nobody does anything about it, then because when do you learn the difference?
Yeah.
If you're experiencing something, a woman in the household that's challenging, a lot of times the children will speak up and say something to the mom, because they like, wait a minute, why are you letting this person? And then they tell you to, be mindful, be respectful of your adults. And then the child comes up and sees, like, wait a minute, because they'll tell you, the kids will tell you in a minute. Why are you letting so-and-so do this? And then the child becomes angry with, but you want to stay in this situation because of the kid. Talk to the kid. They'll give you the wisdom. We don't even, that's one thing about, we need to listen to children, because they don't have as many experiences that cloud the mind. Like, okay, I got to stay here so I can do this, so I can have this big car and this big house. I'll just keep taking it. No, you get your own big house and no, maybe you don't need a big old house. Maybe that, but the children speak, they see, they feel. You bring I remember a certain person was coming around us, and Isis was like, I could see her whole, she was like, she wasn't even saying nothing to me, but I could see her body language, like, this ain't favorable. This ain't working.
Yeah. It's funny, excuse me. Let me clear my throat here. when I was telling my grandson, who is 17, I was telling him about Stanley. And Stanley was really, really my really first real boyfriend and stuff, you know. And we moved in together and stuff. And I was telling him how I ended up in Detroit, and that Stanley we would, you know, fight. And I was telling him, you know, fight and stuff. And he was with all the, you know, what happened this time and then the next time and then this time. And then I moved to Detroit. And my grandson said, and I told this story to so many people, and he's the only one who said to me, why did you stay? I was like, you know, why did you stay that long? Just why? I looked at him and I said, oh, you know what? Nobody's ever really asked me that. And then I you know, told him. And but like you said, Mama Head, the children are looking, they're listening, and they're wondering, why are you letting this happen? Or why are you letting somebody beat on you? Or why are you blah, blah, blah? Why don't you just leave this? And of course, many times it's because, you know, of children, well, I need to deal, blah, 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 blah. Which is really the reason why you need to go, is because of the children seeing you be like that. But anyway, and then people call that love. Mm-hmm. I think when I told the adults that is because they know something like that has happened to somebody they know or to themselves. But my grandson said, well, why did you? And then I, you know, had explained to him in that sense. Yeah. Star?
I wanted to go back, Queen Aduni, to why you asked the question in the first place. What is love?
About love?
Yeah, when you asked what is love, I wanted to know why and what you had in mind when you asked it.
Because what I learned was that there are no different degrees of love. Love is love. And I was like, whoa, there is no agape love. There is no, what do you, fallacious love, or all these things when we speak of love. Well, this is what I got out of it, that love is unconditional, which is agape, period. And so when we have different degrees of love, then of course I just got something a lot out of that, that if love is love, love is God, love is joy, peace, happiness, love, that's love. Love is forgiveness. Love is all of those things that we operate in. Then I can't do love to Pam because she's my sister, and not to Evelyn, who is not my sister. I just love you in a certain way. But when we can get to God's love, then it's across the board. And everybody, you remember, Pam, Mother Whitney? Mother Whitney was an elder. She was like our grandmother, our great grandmother. My mom, you know, referred to her. We would go up to Mother Whitney's house, and I've always been, by her way of being with every single person that came in there, I said, that's who I want to be when I grow up. Now, I was on the wild then, but but that would be a person that was most Christ-like to me, because she was very steady and sturdy in her love. Her love was the same. It wasn't, Chico lived there. She didn't love him more than she loved me. And when Sharita was being bad, she didn't love Sharita less than she loved Chico. It was just that acceptance of who we are and knowing who we are. Knowing, you know, like who we are being versus who we are. And when we can operate from love from that, then I don't want to hit you. I don't want to punish you because I have a different level of love from here, this person, to the other person. Or so just getting to that, yeah, well, I love you when you're good. Or when we tell our children, now see, God loves you when you do that. Ooh. So when I'm not doing that, God doesn't love me. Or I love you when you do this, but I don't love you. And love can't come and go like that, and just getting to that pure agape love, that pure unconditional love, that love of God, and how much God loves me and how important I am to this whole thing of life is, yeah. So, and everybody's experiencing love in different ways. So I love you. Yeah, baby, let me love on you in the bed. And then after that, there's nothing. We don't communicate, but we're great lovers, So anyway, I just wanted that thing hit me when I read it about love. There's only one love. We the one that want to put degrees on it. But I don't love you like that. That pure, that
Can I speak to that?
Yes, honey.
So, in a sense, I see love like water, and it can flow full force, or anywhere
breaking up.
between. Or
You're breaking up, baby.
I'm breaking up, sweetie.
Okay, is this any better? No.
Where were you a minute ago?
Right here. Is this any better?
Okay, go ahead and talk.
Just tell her to go off
Okay.
camera. It'll come in better if she goes off camera.
Okay.
Okay, keep talking.
So, I see love like water in a faucet that can either flow full force, anywhere between being turned completely off. The water's still there. It's just not flowing. Or a trickle, or a gush, a geyser. So that's just an aspect of love or perspective on love that has given me some sense of grounding and perspective.
Well, I know that love feels good. I'm not talking about, that kind of love, but when you love as opposed to any other thing, disdain, hatred, which is very strong, and things like that. Love, when you love just anybody, it feels wonderful. And that's why when it's not there for whatever reason, you're very uncomfortable because the feeling of love and being in love is not there. And yeah, it's beautiful. Love is beautiful.
I think I wanted to add to the conversation in that, so like understanding that there's this one love is huge. And I think I always say I think, but we're allowed the discernment of how we can show that love. And, we can have, like, I have people in my life who I love so much, but my love may not look like paying their bills every month and then driving them wherever they need to go and filling their groceries up and all of that. That might not be what love looks like from me, but I love them in the same capacity as someone who might do that for them. I love them in the same way, but how I show love may be different. I might be there as someone who is an open ear. I might be someone who can, help them think about their life in a different way, or I might be the one to take them out and do something fun so they don't have to worry about other things. I still love. It's just in which way I show it is what I have to decide for my life, and the well-being of my spirit in general. So I think a lot of times especially us I know I'm a giver. So if I have it and you need it and you just happen to be there, I might try to make it work, even if I'm like, dang, now I'm out completely. Like that's me sometimes. But I have to realize, you can show this one love just in different ways. And if we can master that, I think it's not about the different types of love and all of that as much as it is about in which way we would like to show it for these people. How do we want to show up in their lives in love?
Good point. Good point.
Anyone else want to share? Okay, great.
Reverend Omani,
Yeah.
I know that Queen Aduni didn't want you to answer before.
Oh, love. It's like if you actually, they have all the kind of love. You have romantic love and family love and tribal love and then you got the unconditional love. It's just, but then ultimately it's the love of God, right? And like to experience that and be in the presence of that is something else. And I've had like lots of growth around love for myself. I remember when I was participating in a landmark and you first start creating possibilities. When I became the possibility of love, the people around me was like, yeah, sure, we're gonna see how that's gonna go. Because I was like the farthest thing from, and I've had to learn, pissed off at somebody. I could be pissed off at somebody, but God still love them. So then I started going, well, I'm gonna be pissed off at them if God still love them. Never mind, right? It's like, well, I'm gonna be pissed off at somebody because they still love. And then what happens when you're not in a space of love? What do? You withdraw. You stop talking. Well, you're the one not being loved or in the experience of love. That was just like so crazy to me. And so, now, like for me, I still have to work on it, because if you piss me off or I think you've done something to me, which that's an illusion, because nobody can do anything to me. I still have to work with myself to get myself in the presence of love. And now I have lots of exercises and ways of doing that, But peace is home base for me. And if I get myself in a state of peace, then what comes right after that is love. So that's where I am with that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the Course of Miracles, it says so much about love. Takes it deeper and deeper and deeper till, that's our natural state, actually, that we've separated ourselves from, actually. So that's what I got to say about love.
So
I love love.
Alita?
Yeah, so all the expressions of love that we just talked about.
Can you come on camera?
I'm moving.
Oh, okay.
So when I get stationary, I got a doctor's appointment. I'm always running in the morning.
Go ahead.
So all the different expressions of love, isn't all of it God's love? No matter what kind of love it is, because if we represent God on the planet, then all of it is God's love. Whether you love somebody a little bit, or whether it's romantic love or family love, it's all God's love, right?
I would say so.
Because if we come from God and we represent God, it's just like our children look like us, we have attributes of God. So any love that we're talking about is still God's love.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Just different ways of expression.
Yeah, different ways of expressing, but
Mhm.
basically it's all love of God.
Well, I don't know when when Stanley was choking me in the
Well, if
car,
you really,
doing like this. Don't you know I love you?
Oh God, really? Well, love
I
me a
said,
little
well,
more.
please don't love me no more, please. That was his expression of love. That's what he learned from his father.
well, too, I think if you really think about it, all the different expressions of love, they have a kind of quality to them. But the like God's love is like unconditional love. It doesn't matter how you being, what you're doing, how we go. I love you, right? But if you really look at the other ones, they, romantic love. I love you till you don't love me no more, or you choking me to death. Then this bets are off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I think the family love. Family love is more like we love you long as you're doing the right thing according to what our family standards are.
Yeah.
That's that kind of love,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think because I know for myself, I've had to for me to really be able to stand in love, I have to have unconditional love for people and myself. It has to be unconditional because, everybody's doing something, including me. And so as soon as I don't like what I'm doing or what I'm saying, then I don't want to give myself no love. No. So how about we just do unconditional love, which is God's love. It's unconditional. There's no conditions on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I say, thanks everybody for what you have shared and sharing from your heart. And what I want to do now is I want to share where I want to go from here. Um, um, Fridays are passion and purpose. And it is now time for us to start talking about our purpose and money and bringing forth what we're supposed to, what we feel we are here to do. So I want to just dab in just to a little bit, just so we'll see where we're going. Let me find it first. Okay, I gotta get that. Someone else can share Lolly, you want to share something else while I'm doing this?
I suppose I could.
I could.
Um,
I got it, baby.
okay.
Like, whoa. All right. So I would pray that many are hope that many of you have heard of Robert Kiyosaki. Put your hand up if you know of him.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki. Okay. All right. So Robert Kiyosaki he wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And his story is that when he was young, his father was let me go ahead and answer this. Juanita?
You said put your hand up if you heard of them.
Okay, got you.
I try to follow directions.
I was talking about this one. Okay, let me put that down. So his father, and we'll get to more about him, but he had two fathers. One was his biological father, and then the other was his friend's father, who was a rich man. Mama Omani?
No, I'm playing with the phone. Sorry.
Okay. And so he shared what he learned from his father, who was an educated man. He was I mean, by standards, he was middle income. He wasn't rich. His friend's father, though, was not initially rich. He was a entrepreneur, and so he had to build his wealth. and their ways of thinking were totally different. It's the way that a person thinks when they are entrepreneurs. There's a way that people think when they have a job, a 9 to 5. So when 9 to 5, 5 o'clock come, they go out and they do whatever they want to do. They don't have to do anything around the 9 to 5 work. Entrepreneurs, we work all the time, and our conversation is different. So this is an excellent. They have Rich Dad Poor Dad for youth. They need to read this. So, and I just want to get just in a little bit so we know what we're going to be talking about next week. Cash flow quadrant is what he teaches. There are 4 ways to produce income, and we're going to find out where are you at. The linear income versus leveraged and residual income. So there's four categories. One is an employee. You have a job. There's no leverage. 5% wealth. 5% of people who are wealthy is from being an employee. The amount of active work determines your income. All right. And not only that, but other people determine when you're going to get a raise or not, or whether you're, just so many decisions are made without you being involved, except for you go in there, you sit in the chair and they pull out this stuff and they say, well, not on this, you get this, like you sitting there for your attendance sheet and all that kind of stuff, your behavior. Then the next one is self-employed. Being self-employed, you own your own job. You own your own job. No leverage. 95% of the population is self-employed. Is based on the amount of active work determines your income. So if you're self-employed, you still are working. I mean, you got to do everything. If you're not there to do it, it won't get done. If you're not there to complete the job, you won't get paid. And then you go over to the business owner, B. You own a system, and the leverage is 95% wealth. Income does not depend on active work. Okay, so now, so you have a job, and you have a company, and there's a system of how everything works. You don't have to be there in order for the work to continue. If you pass on, then you can, one, you can sell the business. The other thing is that if you die, you got things in place for the business to keep going. And then the fourth one is being an investor. You own investments. The leverage of that is only 5% of the population are investors. Okay, so we're going to talk more about that. Okay, so here it is. An employee, let me see, where are we at? Okay, we got 5 minutes. But the employee security, they climb the corporate ladder. They say, I'm looking for a secure job with nice colleagues and great benefits. That's what I want. And then you have no OPT or other people's time and other people's money. That's what those mean. Then your workload increases. So these are, I don't want to go through all of these right now. Then you're self-employed, you control highly specialized, because I want to be in control of my own time and own my own money, and I want to be self-employed. That's why I quit my job, so I can be self-employed. And then that's when that work starts. That's because every day it's dependent on you, self-employed. And then your business owner is freedom, profitable business system says, I'm looking for people that are smarter than me to run my business for me. And then you have the investors in real estate and stocks and gold and silver. And we're really going to talk more about that gold and silver. And you know, I'm going to reveal some things next week that is happening. And Pam and I, we don't talk about it no more to nobody because there's a lot of training around it. But there is, whether you know it or not, there is a global currency reset happening as we live and breathe right now. And and we are moving from the fiat, from the dollars, from paper to gold and silver. So it's something that we need to begin investing in. I'm gonna have somebody come and really speak from that point of view. Buying in right now, what's happening is they're about to turn 209 countries have agreed to be level. It's called the global currency reset. And so that everything is level. My money, German money, Iraq's money, we can exchange evenly. And it's going to be, and it is, because it's already started, backed by gold. And so we just got to learn about that, because that is actually what's happening. And I don't want my sisters to be lost in the midst of it. And some of it is it as we go through it will sound like conspiracy. Oh, that's not happening. And some so good, it's too good to be true. That's what's called the Nasara Jasara that is happening. That's the global reset. And that's like heaven on earth. You know, that's like that there will be peace on earth. But before that happens, the peace, you know, everything's like everything bad. We had to get rid of all of that and level it out. And we also have to, well, there's just a lot of stuff happening. I want you all to know what it's all about. And if you want to be a part of that particular movement, then I definitely I want it not to be that I didn't tell you. You get what I'm saying? I want it not to be, I want it to be that it's your choice, you know, to ignore it or not. So we're going to go more into that. And then this is just those particular parts. So it's time now, in order for you to fulfill on your promise and what you're supposed to do here on earth, or even until you know, whatever, daily, you need money. We need some way to exchange. And I don't want that on me that I didn't tell you all about it. The currency reset, the global currency reset, what's happening with, you know, going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And some people saying they're in the fifth dimension. We're not there yet. We're not there. Some are hanging in the fourth dimension, and some are still in the three. And just that whole thing, even the COVID thing, there was a reason for that. That's beyond scientists or people who are bad. It's way bigger. It's way bigger than that. So so we're about to get serious on what Fridays are supposed to be about. And we've had some wonderful discussions, and we still will have, but we're going to get down to this money thing. And we're going to get down to what's happening. We may have to talk. I'm not a political person, but there are things that's going on. I don't even know what to vote. It's so messed up out there. Who knows? Who knows? And there's so many lies out there that you really have to search your heart and decide what you want to do. There's no definite this side or that side. It's all mixed. People are, you know, and in a lot of ways, they've just forgotten all about the people. We the people.
The human is the human of it all.
Yeah. Humanity. And this particular program that they have out here is, they have a humanitarian program that is off the wall. It's off the wall, and it's available for people who don't have a lot or don't have anything. Just get this. And when it happens, you are set. One of the things is about being a humanitarian and helping the homeless and helping the sick and your dreams being manifested in order to help people. So, so I am, no, I'm just going to only ask, and you get to choose to just keep your mind open, because we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And just stay open, because what you don't know that you don't know is going to happen anyway, whether you know it or not. So those of us who know any inkling of that, we need to share it. So there I am. There it is right there. There it is right
Boom.
there.
Whoop, there
Boom.
it is.
Boom.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you. Good stuff.
Yeah. So it's 10:03.
Shake it out.
Yeah. Oh my
Loving
goodness.
your colors, Mama had them some
I
beautiful
know,
colors.
she's got those beautiful colors on
Celebrations.
there. Yeah, so bring
Yes.
your pen and pencils and your pads, and we're going to get down and we're going to make it personal to you about what it is that you want, what it is you are here to do, and we're going to open up our brains and our minds and our hearts to receive the what we need. And everything that we have, I used to have this thing, and I must locate that, that God will supply our needs through cash or favor or means. There's other ways. And there was a fourth one I was here I go.
Is it in your bathroom on the wall?
No, unfortunately. It would have been on this other wall that on the other house. But God supplies all our needs. And even when we think about the what happened, the hurricane, what was her name? Katrina.
Oh.
When that happened, do you know how many prayers was answered through that? How many prayers around money was answered around that, as tragic as it was? But do you know that so many people, the machines, all of their history, all of that stuff is gone.
Wiped out.
And then some of the people, they've moved and they don't even know where they are to even bug them and show up at their house and stuff anymore.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or things that they needed to get rid of that they just was still holding on. Now it's gone. That was what happened in my basement. Some things I probably needed to get rid of. Well, now it's all water and it's no good to me anymore, right? So we're just going to go ahead and jump in here so that we can be about manifesting the passion and our purpose on life. Is that okay, ladies?
Yes.
I like being about our Father's business to me.
Ashe.
Yeah.
I got a little announcement.
Okay.
If you all have access to Facebook, please go on the link provided to find out what your type, your human design type is, if you're interested, because we want to do a follow-up with Adrian.
Okay.
Just to revisit. I don't know if y'all did your homework, but I'm giving you cyber work, but I'm giving you a chance to do that. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Let me share something. I had one of Mama Razia's awesome dinners yesterday. So let's be in tune with her in advance early in the week to find out what the menu is and to try to budget, however often we can, at least one Thursday, however randomly it may be, to, have $20. She was only asking 17, but that was like the Healing Support Network members price. She's about to up that price because for what all she puts in that dinner, oh my, is so much. She had 2 kinds of spaghetti, raw spiralized green zucchini and spaghetti the cooked spaghetti squash,
Mhm.
along with raw marinara sauce and some mock salmon noir rolls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's deep.
And the dinner roll and the juice. So I'm hoping that we can be more present for ourselves and for her. I hadn't been, but I'm going to try to be. I won't be so present next week. I'll be going back to Georgia to help my mom move into her assisted living place. So I'll peek it when I can.
So let me speak on Razia. Is that this yesterday was her last day. You know, they've already made those announcements. What I would love for us to do is for us to pick a Thursday that and we go and have, you know, an experience Razia together, and we can, you know, we can have we just do it together. Some of
What
us.
do you mean it was her? I'm sorry. What do you
It
mean
was her last day. Yeah, her last day of the Thursday preparing food. They're going into the winter months, and
Oh,
yeah, she had
okay.
already put the announcement that was the last day of that. So anything that you do now, you must make special arrangements, because
Okay.
they always still cooking, you know. But I think it would be wonderful for all of us to come together and just have something. She has a beautiful home. We can sit there and talk and enjoy the food and assist in preparing the food. Some of us come early enough to do that. And I think that would be awesome. Lolly?
I just wanted to share that in preparation for my bigger manifestation, which requires a tour, I'm doing some smaller community work. So I have a community event that I am helping to curate in November. It's November 19th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it is at a church. It's at Charity Lutheran Church on the east side on Kelly. And we're gonna be working together to have youth performances, to have a DJ, to have activities for the youth, food giveaways, things of that nature. So I'm still kind of getting all the ideas together, all the funds together, all the participants and volunteers together. But if anything sounds like, you know, something that you may be interested in helping with, either like physically or monetarily, I would greatly be open to accepting any help of the sorts. But I'm really excited because it was on my heart to do some type of small scale harvest event, and I just want to make it fun for the community. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's a Monday?
That's a Saturday.
The 19th of December?
No,
November.
November. Oh, thank you.
Yes. And your date for November?
The 17th.
The 17th.
Yeah,
okay.
Everybody who's going to be a vendor, I'm going to be sending you the link to officially sign up for whatever level of participation. I'll be sending you guys the links. Just want to know who's going to participate doing what coming up over the next week or so. And just to mention also, Leo's Coney Island in Dearborn is doing me a fundraiser on election day. So anybody who's out near Dearborn, near Ford Road and Greenfield, and got a little money to spend on dinner, 15% of the proceeds is coming toward my endeavor. So.
Oh, nice. That's nice of them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'll post soon, hopefully soon. Time is just ticking away. Thank you for letting us know that.
Lolly, so when you get your flyer, you know, make sure that you put it in, you post it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I should have that by tomorrow. And then Mama, I need your information.
Okay, my phone number.
That'll work because I can just call you.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
678-683-4541.
Okay, cool.
Nothing.
I wanna-
I try to get too excited. I try not to get too excited. Lolly's calling me. Oh, I'm special.
Give yourself some love. And give the world some
Yes.
love. Throw it out there and sprinkle it all over everywhere you go this weekend. Just sprinkle love, 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 love.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Have a beautiful weekend.
Yes, you all enjoy your blessed weekend.
Mhm.